What's up out there? Today we're going to take a look at a game called Unnamed Space Idol. This is developed by Sylve, published by JDog Corp, released July 27, 2023. It is in early access, gets very frequent updates. It is free to play. The reviews on Steam are very positive. This is available on Steam, itch.io, at least Android. I also assume iOS, but I don't have an Apple phone. I will say there is an option in the settings to set up a cloud save, which I was going to do. But I installed this on my phone and it basically takes this entire screen and shrinks it down to your phone. So everything becomes microscopic and I kind of gave up on it. I assume this is more for tablets, but mileage may vary. So it is available on mobile at least. Let's just say that. This game got recommended to me on my Steam Idler Fest video. I had a couple of people comment on that and said, man, this game is really awesome. You got to check it out. I checked it out that night and now I'm, I don't know, a dozen hours into it or so. I finally got into Sector 22, which is where I got this warp drive. The basic premise of this game is you're going to take your ship and you're going to progress across this little blue line or purple line, whatever color that is going to move this white bar across it. That is the entire sector. You need to start from one end up on the other end, and clear the final boss. So I would compare this to Farmers Against Potatoes Idol. If you like that game or you think this game looks good, I would recommend that one, and vice versa. I think these are fairly similar. There's a lot of the same. You need to progress forward, then you're going to prestige once you stall out. I'm basically stalled out where I'm at here. There's a lot of little fiddly bits. I'm not even going to try to explain all this. There's a lot to it. The game starts off much simpler and it's not nearly as bad as it looks right now. You will get things presented to you in a pretty straightforward way. As you complete sectors, you will unlock these buttons up here. For instance, I think you start off with a core button by itself, and then when you hit like sector 2 or 3, the compute button unlocks, and then sector 5 or something like that. As you go forward, every so often you will unlock a new button. And then there's sector 51, 80, and 100 that I have yet to get to. But as you go through these, like I think challenges was like 18 and warp drive was 22, something like that. This is a free to play game. If you go into the AI tab, there is a purchase button. So you've got a $2.50 bundle over here for the QOL. You've got a $5 bundle and you've got a $10 bundle. I went ahead and bought the $10 one. Then if you just wanted to buy straight points, you can. However, none of this is required. You will get enough AI points from achievements and other sources to unlock all automation options. Purchasing AI points allows you to unlock them faster, use more consumables from this tab, or to support the developers. So I finally kicked them some money. This game's really cool. I've enjoyed what I've played. It's worth $10. So you get other options. It takes a while to generate these. These actually generate from achievements. So as you do things and unlock these achievements, you will generate AI points that can then be spent here unless you shortcut and buy some stuff. A lot of cool stuff on here. The one QOL that I liked was this increased max offline time from 1 to 4 days. I thought that was really cool. There's a lot of good stuff here. There's just a lot of cool stuff here. Okay. I want to actually take you through a prestige real fast. I don't want to try to get lost in explaining all of this because there's a lot here. It gets brought to you in bite-sized chunks. What you're seeing is after a decent amount of time spent playing this game. What you start off with is just one ship with one laser and one shield generator. So you only have 2 of these. You don't have all these different rows on here. You just have 2. As you play the game and unlock more stuff, it gets more and more complex. So there's a lot of different options to press on. You'll see I keep clicking over here. These boxes, it's like a little cookie clicker type thing. There's a little thing floating over here. You click on it, it's salvage. Like you can't click on this ship to do anything, but this little salvage piece over here, you click on that, you get a little bit of salvage. Destroying ships or clicking on the salvage things generates salvage, which is then spent on this screen. I don't know where it comes from, but you generate void matter. I'm still not clear on that. Void matter is spent on the compute screen to unlock this button here. So when this lights up, you can click on it. It will give you compute power, and then you can spread that power out throughout here to improve the ratio of shield damage or shield and damage that you get, which then goes back to the core tab to do more damage or absorb more damage. So kind of boiling this down real simple. On the synth tab, this gives you access to these modules that you can then adjust on or off, and you can get more modules like this. If I save up 1,250 synth points, I can actually add another slot and have another one of these running. So I think you start off with like 3, and as you go, you get 5, 6, 7, however many you can unlock. But you can work with these, like this one's got salvage recovery, so I can get more salvage. I can increase my void matter with that one. I can increase my compute speed, so this feeds back into the other tabs. Basically, everything you do in these tabs kind of feeds back into the rest of it to give you more power, more compute speed, which gives you more damage, more defense, all that kind of stuff. On this, you will generate these materials. There's a white level and a green level. I'm up to the green level, and there's a whole bunch of different components. As you get these leveled up to max level, they have infinite resource production. This is persistent. The stuff on this tab is persistent. So even if you prestige, everything here stays. And as you generate synth points, you can increase these down here, and these keep costing more and more. But all these little boxes down here feed into everything else. So you've got like synth damage, you've got the max shields, you've got power generation, power max, stuff like that. Gets complex, but it's pretty straightforward once you start playing it. It's not too bad. And you can have, it looks like I can have up to 4 of these going. I haven't bought the other options to get those. And then there's a way of toggling these modules up so that I can see what is upgraded and to focus on which material I want to focus on, like these little bubble things. I'm not covering that up. These little bubble things are something that I probably want to work on next, because that's going to do a bunch of upgrades. So like I could swap this over to bubbles, and then, or whatever these are, focusers. These things will then produce enough so that I could upgrade this and eventually some of these other ones as I generate more components. Okay, that's this screen. All of this goes into the other stuff before it. The V device, as you go through the different sectors, as you get further in the game, you will start generating these shards, and you can go to the shard library and take a look at these and see what they are. These all offer different bonuses, and depending on which colored socket you plug them into is what bonus you're going to get. This is red only. It's only got the little red box. So this does synth speed only. So that's all it does. I socketed it there because I wanted to focus on the most synth speed that I could. But you'll have other ones like this has got red and orange. This has got red, orange, and pink. And then this one down here is red, orange, pink, or blue. So depending, like I've got it socketed into blue for void power generation, but I could socket it in for bonus to research, synth speed, or shard drop rate. And there's a whole bunch of these things. They have different versions of each one. So you've got white, green, and blue. I think I've got a blue one over here. Looks like there's another pink version of it too. As you find more versions and fill them out, like this one here, I'm not covering that up. It's just got a little sliver. This has got a little bit more of a sliver. As these fill out, they will become complete. I don't know if I think it's this resonance. So this has got 10 resonance out of 250. This is 250 out of 250. I don't know if as you fill that up, it gives you a better bonus or just doesn't work. I'm still not quite sure what the resonance part does. The point is, you will gather these shards. Each of these shards can then be manipulated. And this is another thing that doesn't change when you prestige. So these are persistent as well. And you can set these up for damage, for resource production, however you want to do it. All of this focuses on all this other stuff before it. Prestige tab. You can actually select which ship you want to use. You can modify the weapons, the shield generators, the utility slots. There's a lot of things to fiddle around with here. As you complete new sectors, you will unlock, this button will light up as you get further along. So if I can actually defeat Sector 23, I'm going to get a heavy cruiser, so I'm going to get another ship. So you want to come back to this. There's also an option to retrofit as you start pushing through a sector. If it gets difficult or you start running into enemies with different things, like you'll go from regular enemies to ones with shields where you'll need a beam laser to take down the shields. You'll end up fighting some small ships. So you might need this Gatling laser to try to mow down the little swarm that comes up, or you'll get ones with armor where you need this kinetic cannon. So there's a lot of reasons to make adjustments here. And the bigger the ship, the more weapons and shields and stuff you're going to get on it. Moving on to the reactor. This thing here has various boosts for engine speed, salvage, damage, research, compute speed, synth speed, and shields. So I can set this over to compute and synth. This actually resets on prestige, so you have to retoggle this, but there's auto manager options for a lot of this stuff anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that. I'm still not sure what I'm doing here, but I'm gonna let this thing auto power manage, and I have compute speed and synth speed. That's what I wanna focus on right now, is more of the crafting side of things. Moving into research. This passively works in the background as you go through the different sectors. It took me a while to catch this because it's fairly small text. You'll see that there's a lot of big text here, and then there in real small fine print, it says material, energy, and observational. If I click on research, you'll see material, energy, and observational. As you go through sectors, so like sector 1 gives me 0.2 of each. Sector 9A gives me 3, 1, and 1. Sector 9B gives me 1, 1, and 3. As you go through this, it will ask you, like you'll go through sector 8. When you complete sector 8, it will ask you which fork you want to go through, A or B. As you go through these, there will be research density that you can apply to your whatever you're doing, whatever sector you're in. So if you want to focus on things, you can actually have it flip-flop around. Some sectors give 75 in everything, so you get like even numbers in all of it. Some give you higher or lower depending on what you're at. Hopefully that makes sense. These are passive in the background. Once you've completed them, they are done. So if I unlock all these, I've unlocked all this. This does not get reset when you prestige. So I'm getting more engine power, more damage, more everything as I go. But you can focus it on one if you want. You can tailor your sector travel to focus on one column or another. But at any rate, these are in the background. These are just constantly improving everything. Eventually, you'll unlock this bases option. This took me a little while to figure out, but you want to click on this box over here, like for building mats, components, or booster, and then socket those in over here. At first, I socketed everything in with building mats to build this number up because that is the currency that unlocks all of these options. It's also what unlocks these. The B components is actually what, when I prestige, I'm going to increase damage and max shields. So my current bonus with these is 828.61. After I reset, I'm going to go up to 1295.22. So you'll see I've balanced things out so that I'm generating enough base materials to stay ahead of this so that this doesn't run out. And then there's this little booster thing. It boosts in a plus mark. So I threw one in here because I think it generates more with this boost than it does if I put a green one in here. Took me a little while to figure all this out. And as I understand it, these layouts might be different. As you play, you'll unlock these boosts here. So like this one, I've unlocked this. This gives me a reactor boost. This next one's going to take a couple of days to generate enough materials to unlock. And then this is 23 days, 6 years. As you progress in this and level these individuals up, these numbers, it's going to say 10 years. As you level everything up, it's going to make that stuff go faster. So, and then there's other bases you can get into as you get further in the game. I think there's several, 4 different kinds. So again, it's more systems on top of systems on top of systems, but this thing will increase your damage and shields. And then you've got other buttons over here as you develop more and more, you can keep going further. Challenges. Now I actually can it says I can do this core computing challenge. I've completed it one time. As you complete this, there's different challenges. You're going to get different bonuses. So like this gives me compute exponent plus 0.02 or something like that. I tried one of these challenges. They are a little bit difficult. They are something you want to sit down and do. I think this came at like sector 18 or something like that. The next one that I got is warp drive. I still don't quite get this one because I just got it before I started recording this, but you can go into this warp, fight monsters or fight ships off, and then this opens up the Path of Exile upgrade tree over here. As you go through and complete these, you will collect warp essence. Warp essence can then be spent on this, which this passive tree upgrades all your other stuff, and this doesn't reset on prestige either. Looks like we're doing okay on time, so I'm going to go ahead and do a prestige here. We're going to click prestige reset. We're going to reset completely, go over to core, and I'm just going to run you through what I typically do to start off this. What I'm going to do is, if this thing doesn't automatically allocate stuff, it's supposed to, but it's going a little bit slow. I want it to go faster, so I can click this upgrade all button. But basically, what I'm going to do is get this set. We're going to go over to compute. Okay, so we're generating salvage, so I can upgrade everything here, which means I'm doing more damage, tanking more damage, and upgrading my little compute thing, my computer lab down here, which gives me different bonuses. Then I'm going to go over to compute. Here I can start selecting computational power. So I've got 14 void matter, so I can start upgrading this. I will start generating this compute power. Every so often, this thing will do a sweep and it will automatically readjust my compute power. This is a toggle that I've bought in the AI store. Not like bought with real life money, but the AI currency that you generate. So, well, I mean, I bought it with real life money, but then used it in game. It's something you get in the game. At any rate, as you generate more void power, you can purchase more computational power, which then can be balanced across more damage and shields. You've got your core, upgrade all your regular weapons and all that kind of stuff. So if you don't have these automation options, you'll be bouncing back and forth between these tabs, like doing the upgrade all, rebalancing stuff here, buying computational power. With the synth tab, I don't have to touch anything. I've got some upgrades available. We'll come back to those. The V device I don't have to set because this was already done. Prestige is already done. I don't have to do anything else here. Reactor I have to actually set up, which is auto power manage. Actually, it's already running, probably because of the auto. So I don't think this typically remembers things. So I want to boost compute and synth. We could do boost salvage and turn synth off. Maybe I want to boost my salvage up and get more here. But at some point, I feel like I get enough salvage that I don't need any more. So I'm going to turn that off and go back to synth. I'm boosting my compute and my synth because I want to make synth go faster. And I'm definitely boosting my compute because I want it to have I want the most damage and shields and stuff that I can get. So that's kind of the reasoning what I'm doing right now with the reactor. I don't exactly understand what these upgrades are. I'm not sure if those are persistent or not, but when you buy them, a chunk of that goes away. And like, this doesn't really say where void power comes from. I'm not going to get lost in that. At any rate, I usually set up compute and synth and then get this thing to auto manage power for me, I have to set this up to do the power that I want, but this thing should be, I guess I have to turn it on first. I don't know. Still learning this whole thing. I just got this auto power managed today, so I'm not entirely sure how it works, but automate this. I want boost compute speed and boost synth speed. Research, we don't have to touch anything on. Bases, we don't have to touch anything on. And challenges in warp drive, we basically don't have to touch anything on. So when you prestige at this point, when I prestige and I'm getting ready to take it offline, I'll make sure that my core is completely upgraded. I'll make sure compute is completely upgraded. All of this is balanced. My synth is upgraded. So like we can upgrade this here, gives me compute speed boost. We can upgrade this. We can upgrade this. That's going to give me more salvage efficiency, more void matter recovery. Can upgrade this to get more offense ability. I don't have the shield one turned on right now, but that gives me as many upgrades as I can possibly get on this screen. We come back to core, upgrade all these, make sure I've got the compute power built, and that's it. Then I would actually go into this, do a save and quit, and then go off and do whatever, come back for another session later. That's kind of how this game plays. It's a very cool game. You don't have to spend a lot of time with it. You can sit on, put 20, 30 minutes into it, or 5, 10, whatever you want as you prestige. As you get further and further, like most of these games, you're going to unlock more options to automatically do things for you. So I don't have to worry about, I'm not doing anything, and it's going to start upgrading all my salvage stuff on this screen for me. If I go click on compute and unlock the compute power, this thing will redistribute all of this stuff here and start managing things for me. It takes a couple seconds for these things to kick in. It's not immediate, but that's it. Very cool game. I very much enjoyed what I've sank my time into with it. Very interested to see where it goes. I know there's something to do with crews because you can, if you go under the AI tab here for automation, there's a bunch of crew stuff and fleets. I presume that's what these last 3 buttons are, is something to do with crews and fleets and everything. Haven't got there yet, but I don't know. This looks very cool. It's played very well. I'm not sure where they're at in the development cycle. I don't think I've read, where they feel like they are, but there's a lot of game here to play. It plays really well. And like the two people that recommended this to me, I highly recommend this. This is a very cool game, very interesting. It's very involved. There's a lot to it. You can interact with it as much or little as you want, and it's free to play. So even if you don't want to kick any money into it at all, you just want to check it out, you can do that. You can fully play the game without paying a dime, which is also very cool. At any rate, that's going to do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.